So Bill Maher goes to dinner with Donald Trump, Kid Rock, and Dana White. And this happened a couple weeks ago, March 31st. But Bill Maher came out on Friday on his show and gave his account of what went down and how it was. And it might surprise you. So I wanted to talk about this actually last week when I first heard about the dinner that they had together. But I held off, and I'm glad I did, because we got to see from Bill Maher. He gave what he experienced in the whole dinner, and it was very just to the point, reporting the facts, not saying he's all MAGA. He's not MAGA whatsoever, but he gave his position of what it felt like to sit down with the man behind what we see on TV, Donald Trump. My name is Brandon Fogal. This is Evolution. Let's dive into this. So that is a very interesting scenario. And this is something that I've always liked about Bill Maher, because I've liked Bill Maher for like a long time, maybe 20 years, however long, whenever he was doing his first show, Politically Incorrect. I always liked Bill Maher. He's a comedian. He's funny. He's at times vulgar. But what I've always liked about Bill Maher is he's to the point. He says what he thinks, no matter what political side people want to place him on. He doesn't walk lockstep with anyone. He's very individualistic, independent-minded. You could say he definitely leans left, but the left has gone so far to the left in a lot of ways that a lot of people that used to be left-leaning and Democrat are more centrist in a lot of ways now. It was really eye-opening to hear what he said, because he's not been a Trump supporter at all. Trump actually sued Bill Maher, and they've went back at each other, back and forth so many times in just the last 8 years. And he starts it off with his show and saying, this is all he has like 60 epithets or 60 names that Donald Trump has called him. He takes it to the White House. He reads it in front of his show, and he says, I'm not going to go through the list, but he goes through them all, and then he says, Donald Trump, he signs that list that Bill Maher gave him. I think it's a reminder that we don't have to be so on a team and so just blinded that we are all real people. We all have real lives. We all have real perspectives. And it doesn't matter if somebody's on the other side of what position you were on. We're still real people. And I think this was an emblematic event that just shows that we can come together. Politics doesn't need to be something that we completely divide over, and we have to be so tribal in everything we do. And I think Bill Maher, he shows that perfectly in his willingness to sit down. He ends it all by saying, in his sit down with Trump and talking about him going back and forth with Donald and saying, there are a lot of people that did not want us to sit down together. And both of them agreed that those are the people that we don't like. We don't like when people say, you cannot cross the aisle. You have to be on your side. As opposed to, we are all Americans. We are all on the same side. No matter how much politics Washington wants to shove down our throats and every day just make us seem like we're all so divided. We have to hate whoever doesn't bleed our party line. And so that's exactly why I love Bill Maher. This is Bill talking about when they're walking through. So Kid Rock asks Bill, he says, did any of the other presidents ever offer for you to come to the White House, give you this opportunity just to come there? Hillary, the Clintons, Obama, did they ever offer this to you? And they did not. They never did, and he makes it clear. He says, I would not have felt as comfortable as I did with talking to Donald Trump as I would have had I been talking to Barack Obama and Hillary Clinton and all the Clintons, all the Clintons. Because I think he saw behind the what people see on TV when Donald Trump, he just seems like he definitely gives an aura and an impression of who he is. And so they're walking through the White House, and he's just not pulling anything. He's just giving it all to the president and just saying what he thinks. He doesn't hold anything back. He doesn't feel like he needs to hold anything back. He just It's like sitting down with somebody, sitting down having a beer with somebody. And even though Donald Trump doesn't drink a beer, but like it felt like that. He could actually just talk, and they didn't have to like come at each other's throats. They didn't have to be in a defensive posture. He could say to what, and I think he went into it. He didn't know what to expect, and he caught Trump what he thought would have been catching him off guard. But we're going to see how Trump's reaction, even in talking about the 2020 election, and he brings up how Trump reacted when he said the 2020 election, and then Trump said he uses the word loss, which we have not heard Trump say.
But it must have been something with the 2020 election, because I know he used the word lost, and I distinctly remember saying, wow, I never thought I'd hear you say that. He didn't get mad. He's much more self-aware than he lets on in public. Look, I get it. It doesn't matter who he is at a private dinner with a comedian. It matters who he is on the world stage. I'm just taking as a positive that this person exists, because everything I've ever not liked about him was, I swear to God, absent, at least on this night with this guy. Bob, Kid Rock, told me the night before, he said, if you want to get a word in edgewise, you're going to have to cut him off. He'll just go on. Not at all. I've had so many conversations with prominent people who are much less connected, people who don't look you in the eye, people who don't really listen because they just want to get to their next thing, people whose response to things you say just doesn't track, like, what? None of that with him. And he mostly steered the conversation to, what do you think about this? I know, your mind is blown, so's mine.
All right, so there's a lot there, but he is just straightforward and honest. I think he went in probably thinking, I got to be careful. I mean, this is because all he knows is the guy that he sees out there. He doesn't see an actual real person. And I think with Donald Trump, we don't see a real person a lot of the times, but he is a real person. And the impression he gives when he's out in the world stage and in front of everybody, it is bombastic. It is in your face. It is, you're going to punch me. I'm going to punch you 20 times harder. I'm going to go at you. I'm going to destroy you. I'm going to do everything. Whereas that's the impression that he gives out there in real life. And it's calculated. It seems like it would have to be calculated. And it made me think with anybody. I feel like in my own life, if I put my guard down sometimes, if I get vulnerable, people will just come at you. If they see that you're a real person, they'll use that against you. And you're like, oh my gosh. And I think it's just been a lifetime of him being in that kind of mental mindset that he is in. He's been in business for years, 50 years, 40 years. I don't know exactly. He's been been a realtor. He's been he's all about the art of the deal. He's all about getting his point across, getting his position across, and getting the best for whatever interest he has, his own, the people that his shareholders, whatever it is. It's a game to him. He's having the best time of his life doing nothing but right now getting ready to sit down and have trade deals with the rest of the world and for the United States. This is the best life that Donald Trump could ever live. So with anybody out there, if you're in that position, I think he just gives that impression that he has to be a killer. He has to be no awareness of anyone else's feelings, and just he's all about him and pushing his agenda. When you sit down with the real guy, and we're seeing it from somebody that is the opposite side of Donald Trump and the opposite side of what we would think are MAGA right-leaning Republicans. And he came away just a little bit, I would say, shocked. He came away shocked and just, that was not what I was expecting. And I think he understands that the myth behind the man is that it's just a myth. He doesn't know why Trump acts the way he does when he's in front of cameras, when he is going against the rest of the world, when he's going against people who are coming at him with all these agendas and all these things that are going to trip him up. I think he's just developed some crazy thick skin that is hard for him when he's in that kind of venue of the real life theater of the cameras on him all the time. He doesn't know how to react, but to be somebody that just punches, but to be somebody that just attacks. He doesn't ever let his guard down. And I think that's all the impression that we ever see about him. We don't see that there's an actual person there. And he says, Bill Maher says, I went down into the mine of MAGA. And the guy who is running the show, who is in the White House, is not a crazy guy. Is not a crazy guy that I thought was there. But it's still a guy who portrays himself as a crazy guy out on the world stage. And he doesn't understand why he does that. Bill Maher says, you're scaring people. Some of the things that you're doing, you're scaring people. Do you really want your citizens to be scared? And with all realness and vulnerability, Bill Maher says, I don't remember what he said, but Donald Trump did not say, I'm going to stop doing that. There's things that what he does in some, I guess it just depends on who you are and how you're receiving it. You might be a person that it's scaring you, the things that he does, or you might be a person that loves it. I would say whoever you are, we can come together. We can find out, at least from this person's account, Bill Maher, that the guy in the White House is a real dude. He's a real guy. And he has regular feelings like everyone. And he's not the crazy guy that sometimes people paint him as. So whenever I first heard about them sitting down, I thought it was just incredible because Bill Maher, him just to do this, because he would have got a lot of blowback from a lot of people. And it doesn't, I just think it should serve as a benchmark to our culture and to America of we need to come together. We can't be at each other's throats. We are all real people. Whether somebody disagrees wholeheartedly with you and you don't agree at all with somebody else, they're a real person on that other side that we're talking about. We can talk through issues, and we don't need to just be in a posture that is completely, I'm going to kill you if you come at me. We don't need to be in a defensive mode every time, all the time, 100 times a day. That's all we live is just defensiveness. That if somebody says something that goes against my political side, let's pull down those stupid sides. Let's come to the realization that ideas matter. Ideas matter, and it doesn't matter if your side has the good idea or the other side. Ideas matter. I mean, that I always feel like that. The why we have red versus blue. The founders, I've heard things that they were not all into that, and why we set up this whole structure. I think it's silly because all it does is within our regular lives, it puts us against each other, as opposed to just let's come at it with independent thought, ideas, let the best ideas win. Bill Maher is a picturesque, perfect example of this. You might not like him. I like him a whole lot, and it's specifically about the way that he is about this. He goes against religion in a lot of ways. He makes fun of religion, but he's an equal opportunity religion antagonist. He goes against them all. And people that hate on Christianity, he hates on Christianity. But those same people are scared to hate on Islam or any of the other religions that you cannot touch. He goes at them all. He's equal about that. So you can disagree with that. You can not like that, But at least I've always appreciated that he's real. That he's real with what he thinks, real with what he believes. Because so many people, if you don't like the whole God thing, if you don't like and you don't believe in all that, don't hide it. Just everybody be who you are. You don't have to be obnoxious about everything, but just be who you are. And I appreciate that so much more than somebody that just conceals it and hides it and doesn't let it overflow into what they really think and believe. And show the rest of the world what they got going on behind closed doors. So let me know what you think. If you got the same kind of vibe that I got from this, let me know. But if you didn't, let me know as well. So, all right, we'll leave it at that.